This is Chase Gore,
And this is Chris Gore.
and this is the Andrews Mustangs Slot Team Mafia show. This is the very first show, and we're here in this beautiful studio. It's courtesy of Daniel Montoya and Monument Realty. Our backdrop here is provided by Nix and Nax. And before we get started, I just wanted to let everybody know that this show is not affiliated with Andrews Independent School District or Andrews High School. We're going to be talking everything Andrews football throughout the season. This is kind of our preseason preview. We're going to kind of go over some things, any changes that have been made, kind of do a quick overview of the schedule. And before we dive into that, we also wanted to let everybody know that this show is for the kids. It's all about the kids. We're not professionals. We're not getting paid for this, anything like that.
Professionals.
Definitely, me and this guy are not professionals, but it's all about the kids. We love Andrews. We love Andrews High School. We want to support anything that goes on with that, and especially for us, we love football.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be. Chase asked me a couple weeks ago if I want to do a podcast with him, and at first I was kind of like, "Well, what'd you have in mind?" And so we got to talking about it and thought it'd be a really neat thing to do. So we're excited. We're ready to kick it off.
And talk to some folks around town, Rudy Diaz, a couple other people, and trying to get an idea of how something like this gets started. They gave me Daniel Montoya, and they were like, hey, this is the man. This is who you need to get with. I've known of Daniel and got with him, and he's been so awesome. I mean, this place is masterpiece, so we very much appreciate it. We're going to go and dive right into it. We're going to go ahead and discuss Andrews Mustangs' last season record was 7-5. They finished third in district last year. Got to the second round of the playoffs, got knocked out by Decatur. Unfortunately, finishing third puts you in a kind of a pickle of a situation.
You never know, but normally the top two slots in district, normally you'll get a better playoff draw. Finishing third last year, we drew the regional champ, eventual regional champ, and I believe their running backs back. They got a lot of people coming back. I think they're picked by Dave Campbell's to win the region. So you got to play them sometime, but you want to avoid them the first round or two.
You pay them later down the road.
Down the road.
Exactly. Decatur went on, won the region, faced China Springs, lost a close game, and then China Springs went on and
won
ended up won a state championship. So, and I believe the boy's name is Palmer. Nate Palmer.
Yeah. He
was a running back for Decatur, and Dad got a coaching job there and was out at Canyon. He was out there at Canyon. Dad got a job out there, and Mr. Palmer's got a whole lot of.
That's a good hire.
Great hire, and he's got a whole lot of offers coming. He's got them from all over the place. So, but anyway, we're going to go ahead and talk about this year's Andrews Mustang football team. It looks like our offense will be changing to what they call a slot T. And Chris, do you want to discuss a little bit of what that entails?
Yeah, so, Andrews has ran the spread the last 15 or 20 years, had a lot of good quarterbacks, a lot of good teams, a lot of success. This year, we Coach Harvey's second year, and they've made the decision to go to the slot T offense. For a lot of you older guys, older I mean 40 and up, who followed especially high school football for any time, you'll remember 20, 30, 40 years ago, majority of your high school teams ran an I, a wishbone, a wing T. This is similar to the wing T. You have there's not really a lot of teams in West Texas that run it. You're going to be running probably 90% of the time. A lot of misdirection, sweeps, counters, similar to what you see in a wing T offense. You've had some high-profile teams around the state who've been very successful, like Liberty Hill, Salado, I think, has had some success with it. Franklin, the last couple of years, they might have won a state championship last year. I know they played for it. It's not something you see a lot of anymore. It relies on execution. So that's what we'll be doing this year. A lot of under the center. Quarterback will be under the center. Like I said, a lot of misdirection, sweeps, counters, things like that. So it'll be interesting. It'll be something new. And 4-hour games probably be a thing of the past. Probably able to get out of there by 9 o'clock.
Well, one thing I like about it is in this slot T, they break the huddle and they sprint to the line of scrimmage, and you run the play.
Yeah, they
Defense
move.
doesn't have time to adjust or do anything.
Ball
like
control type offense. Yeah, we're excited. We're excited to see how they implement it.
All right, and on the defensive side of the football, still running the 3-4. We've been in that. Looks like this year, I think we had 3 starters coming back, but there's 3 or 4 kids that got a lot of playing time last year. And it looks like our defensive line is going to be the strength, probably the front 7. And it looks like, as far as size-wise, we're not going to be as big as we were last year. But it looks we do in some of the practices that I've seen, the one thing that stood out to me the most was quickness and speed. And,
yeah, I think they're going to be overall size-wise maybe a little bit smaller than last year, but I think a team's strength, especially on offense, will be speed in the backfield, the skill positions. On defense, like you said, they only have, I think, 3 or 4 what they called returning starters back, but there's several of those kids who played a lot of football last year. I think there's a kid or 2 that might have played offense that they're moving to defense that'll, just be playing defense this year. So, yeah, we're excited. It's going to be a good year. It's like I said, something new. Defense will be the same, but the new offense, a lot of excitement. It'll be something that Andrews fans haven't seen in a long time.
And now actually kicking back to the offense, we actually have Andrews Mustang quarterback, Aiden Olivas, that's actually here in the studio, and we're going to interview him live. All right, so we've talked a little bit about Andrews' new offense. Here live in the studio, we brought in Andrews Mustang quarterback, Aiden Olivas. He's going to be number 7 this year. It's nice to have you on the show. Thank you for coming on.
Oh, thank you.
We're going to go ahead and start with the softball question. Who is your favorite player, new, old? Who's your favorite football player?
My favorite football player is Michael Parsons.
Michael Parsons.
Dog. He's an animal.
That he is. He is an animal. I would not like to go up against that dude.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and dive into this. Can you tell me what's the biggest difference with this new offense that you've been running since the spring compared to what we've been running since you've been through middle school and high school?
The biggest difference, I would say, is the run game. The run game's a lot different.
It's going to be a lot more running plays, 80-20, a lot of deception.
For sure, a lot of deception.
A lot of more team speed, you think?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So the last couple of seasons, you've actually played wide receiver. How's that transition now to quarterback?
It's different. It's fun, though.
A lot more responsibility?
Yes, a lot more responsibilities. But
and
nothing wrong with that, though.
No. It holds you accountable.
For sure.
Are you ready for it?
Oh, of course.
Okay. Give me one thing about this year's offense that you think that's going to surprise people.
I'll say the run game, too. The run game is going to be different. The run game, I feel like, will be a lot better than it has been. But the deception and the speed, the team speed, too, we do have a lot of speed in the backfield. That'll be a lot better, too, a lot faster.
And so basically we're going to be running in plays like old school from the sideline, and they're actually going to bring the play to you.
Yes, sir.
You make the call.
Yes, sir.
When y'all going to break the huddle and sprint to the line of scrimmage and just run the play.
Yes, sir.
Wow, I'm excited. I'm old school. I love old school stuff.
Yeah.
And Aiden played with me back in the way back in the youth football days, and we love the ground and pound. We love it. And we appreciate you coming on the show, Aiden.
Thank you.
You're going to do great. Great things from you, man. Appreciate you. And we have talked about the Andrews defense. Still going to be going with the 3-4. It's what they've been running for quite a while now. And we're going to go ahead and have defensive end Juan Hernandez live in the studio. Juan's number 4, and this is going to be his 3rd year on varsity. Is that correct, Juan?
Yes.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and ask Juan some questions. We're going to go ahead and start off with a softball question. And who is your favorite football player of all time? Can be a current player or a past player.
Odell.
Odell Beckham?
Oh, yeah.
That's your favorite guy?
Oh, yeah.
Tell me why you like Odell.
Because when I first started with White, I just scrolling on Instagram, the first thing I seen was his one-handed catch. And ever since then, I just like
electrifying.
It was on the Cowboys. So
yes. He set the world on fire with that catch.
Yeah.
Yep. And, well, we're going to go ahead and go into Mustang football. So this season, what is your personal goal? What is your personal goal?
My personal goal is to have 15 or more tackles for loss and 8 or more sacks.
Nice, very nice. I hope that comes true because we're gonna have a really good defense. What do you think the biggest strength of this defense is coming in this year?
For sure, the front seven.
The front seven?
Yeah.
And is there so I've heard that Cooper Iverson has moved from tight end from last year, is now moving to outside linebacker.
Yes.
Oh wow. Yeah, he's a good player. That's gonna be something else. How many defensive linemen from last year's squad are coming back into this season?
You got like 6.
6 defensive linemen. All right, that's awesome. So tell me one thing about this year's defense that you think is going to surprise people.
The front seven.
The front seven? Yeah. Think they're going to be mean?
We're going to be some dogs.
Oh, that's what I like to hear. Well, Juan's another one I've known for a long time. Got to coach him since youth. We hope you the best, man. We thank you for coming in and having an interview with us, brother.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, now this part of the show, we're gonna go into the schedule. We're gonna do a quick overview of the schedule. Before we do that, so Monday, the 31st of July, this coming Monday, Andrews checks in for 2 days, and they're gonna run straight through. They're gonna be having early morning practices due to the heat. Most of the practices are going to be 5 a.m. to 8, and then they'll have a lifting session after that. It's usually like 5 to 9-ish.
You got those 2 scrimmages coming up against West Plains and Pampa back-to-back. Usually don't put a lot of stock in scrimmages, but I know that coaches like them to kind of evaluate players, see where they're going to put who, see who can play, who wants to play. Those will be good opponents there to kind of see what we got. Both of those teams, I think, have quite a few players coming back. So that'll be a good way to get it started to hit somebody else.
So we got now on the scrimmages. They're always they sometimes the to be determined. They can always change the date and the time on those. But as of right now, August the 10th, which is actually the first day of school, they have here in Andrews, Canyon West Plains. Chris, do you want to just a little bit on the Canyon West?
Well, no, they're a new school. Got a lot of kids coming back. Can't put a lot of stock in scrimmages, but it'll be a good opponent for the kids. But after 2 weeks worth of hitting each other, they'll be ready to hit somebody else.
And then the following week, on August the 18th, we'll go up to Lubbock, kind of a neutral site.
Scrimmage up at Cooper like we did last year against Pampa.
Pampa Harvesters.
Got some kids coming back. I think they were like 5-5 last year. So, scrimmages, like I said, you can't tell a whole lot into that. But it'll be good to hit. I'm sure the kids will be ready to hit somebody else and give the coaches some good, let them evaluate what they have.
After the scrimmages, we're going to go ahead and start off our non-district schedule. And Andrews week 1 will be traveling to Canyon Randall.
Yeah, it's a long trip up to Amarillo, up to Canyon. We had Canyon Randall, caught him here last year, defensive battle, squeaked that one out. I think they finished 9-4, went around further than we did. But it'll be competitive. Like I said, it's competitive.
Always competitive with Canyon schools.
Yeah, always. We have to go up there, so that was probably the difference in the game last year. So. It'll be a good game. They're always competitive, and it'll be a solid test to start the season. Kind of let us know where we're at, what we need to work on.
Now, week 2 of non-district schedule, we come back home and to face Monaghan's Lobos, big rivalry.
Yeah, Monaghan's always been a big rivalry. We laid it on them last year. They do have some kids coming back. I think that little quarterback's back. He was
4-year starter.
Decent little player. They had a good run, I believe, in 4A Division II last year. But we get them at home this year. Always a good matchup. So sure we'll have
if I remember right,
full house for that.
After we put it on them last year, they didn't lose another game until 3rd or 4th round of the playoffs.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah.
So after the second game of the season, non-district, we're going to travel to Greenwood in week 3.
Yeah, Greenwood had them here last year. Beat them pretty good, but it's always a really competitive, really good game with Greenwood. They have a new coach this year. I think they hired the DC from Abilene Wiley, kind of changing up their offense, but they've got always competitive. And when Andrews and Greenwood hook up, it's always a competitive game. And we have to go over there this year. Hopefully they think they did some stadium renovations, so that'll be good.
I sure hope so.
Yeah.
It's a Cracker Jack box.
Yeah.
Week after that, we come back home for homecoming, and we get Seminole.
Yeah, big game. There a couple years in a row. We blasted them pretty good. Last year we went up there. I think that was our first loss of the year, and they beat us. Kind of surprised us a little bit. They had probably their best year last year in a long time. Had that good quarterback. I think he's at
Really good
UTPB.
quarterback.
Yeah, but they've got some kids coming back. But it's a rivalry game. It's always competitive. We get them at home this year for homecoming, so it'll be one to circle for sure.
After that, we travel to Lubbock High for an actual 4 p.m. game.
Yeah, those aren't the best, but they do the best they can up at Lubbock ISD with that Lowry Field. Kind of got to move games around. 4 p.m. is
It's going to be hot.
it's going to be hot. Could be hot, but yeah, go up to Lubbock, get to play at Lowry Field. 4 o'clock. Hopefully, be a cold front come through to cool things down a little bit.
After that, we get to come back home and we get to face Canyon High.
Yeah, always a good game. We've played them. I think we've only beaten them once the last 5 or 6 years, but we've played them tight just about every year except for one. Canyon High is always competitive. Always excellent program. They'll come down here. It'll be a good game. Could go either way. Always a good game with them for sure.
After that game, then we're going to go ahead. We move into the month of October, and on the 6th of October is going to start district, and we're going to travel down to San Angelo Lakeview.
Well, in our district, Lakeview's a good place to start. They've been down a few years. I think that coach has been there now 5 or 6 years. We can, start the district off with a win. Never know what you're going to get. This might be Lakeview's year, but, the way it's been in the past, that's who you want to start district off with.
Now, this next game on October 13th, our second district game, is the one I have circled, and Lubbock Estacada comes to Andrews.
Yeah, Estacada's got a lot of kids coming back, a couple of Division I type kids, always really talented. They started putting it together a little bit, I think, towards the end of last year. They might be, I think they're picked second by Dave Campbell's in our district behind Brownwood. The good thing is we get them here this year. They beat us, I think, in that overtime game last year that could have went either way. But we talked a little bit earlier about the importance a lot of the times of seeding in the playoffs and getting one of those top 2 spots.
Very important.
So you can avoid a Decatur in the second round.
Absolutely.
That's what that game could be. So it'll be a big one for sure.
Well, after that game on October the 20th, we get a bye, get to rest up just a little bit before traveling down to Brownwood.
Yeah, Brownwood, new in our district. Of course, Andrews has played them over the years, the last history, the last few years. They beat us pretty good last year. They had a really good team last year. I think they got knocked out in the 3rd round. But they got a lot of defensive kids coming back. Not many on offense, but they'll be competitive.
I believe they just have the quarterback coming back.
Yeah, he's a good player. But I think they lost everybody else. That 4-hour drive will be, that's not easy. But, I mean, we've traveled El Paso to Amarillo. So it's not something we hadn't done before. But, that game could be for a district championship. And that would be that could be the game of the year for sure.
And then we're going to follow up the last district game of the season, November 3rd, at home versus Big Spring.
Yeah, another big rivalry, kind of along the lines of Seminole and Monahans. We've played Big Spring for a long time, just 60 miles down the road. You have the McWilliamses over there now. Jay McWilliams, the superintendent, was, of course, they're from Andrews. He was my middle school football and basketball coach. Good memories. Love Coach Mack. His son's the head coach there now. And, really they've turned it around. Big Spring was pretty non-successful, kind of a doormat for a long time. And they kind of started to turn it around the last couple of years, kind of get it going in the other direction. I think they got that little quarterback back that threw for a lot of yards. And they've always got some talented players. I think
they've got 8 or 9 on offense coming back.
Yeah, they've turned it around over there. So, we beat them pretty good last year, but they've got a lot of kids back. We get them here, and you never know that game could be for a district championship or that number 2 spot. So
you never know.
But we do get them here, so that's a good thing.
Well, that concludes the Andrews schedule for the season. So this is our first show, first preseason show,
first time,
and get the jitters out. We're kind of nervous and all that good stuff.
I'm not. Chase is,
and I am definitely. But we want to go ahead and to end the show. We want to thank our sponsors. This place is so nice. We would not be able to do any of this without Daniel Montoya with Monument Realty. Our backdrop by Nix and Nax, local business here on Broadway. We're very much for promoting Andrews, shop Andrews, keep your money here, all about that. Another thing we wanted to go over was that this show will be available on Facebook. It's going to be available on Twitter and YouTube. Most of y'all that are going to be watching this show is about the kids. Please keep it clean. We are not professionals. Wanted to say that again. And if you want to find out where the show is, most of you.
So no, we're not.
Yeah, no, not professional. Me and this guy, no. But you can get a hold of me. You have any suggestions, please holler at me. And Daniel, can they see these helmets here on the table? Yes. Just a little fun before we end the show. We have the new black helmets, and we got the old school gold with the A. We want y'all to go in the comments and tell me which one you like better, which one looks better. And if you were the one making the decision, what would you go with? Just all for fun and games. We appreciate you. Andrew, stay cool and be ready for another show coming soon.